I'm aware that many of you have expressed a desire for online counseling, and to that effect, we have a sponsor who will help you and assist you in that respect. So if you will, go beneath the video, you'll find a link to our online counseling sponsor. They have a whole team of counselors that can help you. Practice self-care, get the help that you need. Let's presume that you can be the kind of person that really likes having committed relationships. You enjoy having friendships or work relationships or family relations where there's a mutual give and take. And if that's the case, then we can say that you would appreciate the characteristic of approachability. Over time, though, you can find that there are some individuals who may come into your life and you think maybe for a while that they too are approachable, only for you to find out later on that it was just smoke and mirrors. It was a mirage. I've had so many people who will say things like, I used to think that we would be very compatible, but somewhere along the lines, it went flat. Or I thought we were going along great, but then I got ghosted. What happened there? Or you might say something like, this person promised they would be helpful and it seemed sincere, but it just never happened. Or you might think, I'm always the one that seems to be open and self-disclosing, and now that I think about it, I didn't get a lot of that in reverse either. Or you may just simply say, I'm very tired of just being brushed off by certain people. Now, those would be indicators, if that's the case, that you're dealing with somebody who is what we would call the avoidant person. Some individuals might give the appearance that they would be willing to approach, but in the end, the avoidance is the name of the game. And let's focus on that word, game. Avoiders can be very strong game players. They can kind of turn their interactions with you into something of a competition where you're constantly going to lose and they're going to win by virtue of the fact that they have an odd angle of superiority over you. And I want to run through 7 games that I have just put titles to that'll help you understand what you're dealing with. And then you can decide what you're going to do with a person who's willing to game you like this. One of the first games that I'm going to identify is the one that we'll just simply call, I'm very impressed by you. Not really. There are times when these individuals can start off in their relationship with you, giving you nice compliments, seeming friendly and engaging and saying all sorts of nice things and showing an interest in the things that you're interested in. But then over time, you begin realizing that was all just kind of a ruse to try to make themselves look good, but they never really did have the desire to connect. Later on, you find that criticisms begin showing up, or that interest was just superficial and it wasn't really strong. And so there are times when you can get pulled in by their pleasantness and their compliments up front, only to find that it was short-lived. A second game that we can do, and this is identify, and this is what I call, let's do lunch. Or there may be another variation of that. Hey, I'll call you tomorrow. Crickets. There are some individuals who will continually say, I really want us to have times to connect. And you find over time that all the while they just seem to be pleasant and friendly and into you. Oh yeah, I'm going to be available to you. And then when it comes time for them to do the follow-up, that follow-up just doesn't happen. And this implies that these individuals can come across as superficially friendly and superficially connected, but it's just that. It's superficial. It's shallow, and avoidant individuals can give the appearance of being into you, but it's all very, very shallow, and it has no depth to it whatsoever. They don't mean it when they say, let's do lunch, or I'll check back with you. It's not going to happen. A third game that they can play is one that I would call, let's share personal issues. You go first. By the way, I would see this within my counseling office a lot. I might have family members or couples or folks like that come into my office, and one person would be very willing to talk about personal issues, and the other person would say, yeah, let's do that. And you go ahead and talk. And you can be over there sharing your heart and pouring out your soul and your past experiences and all of that. And then when it comes time for that other person to reciprocate, they might do one of two things. They may mirror what you say, like, yeah, that really bothers me too, or I can see where that would be a problem for you. Or which is nothing more than just letting you talk and they're not really going to get into it. Or they just simply will gloss over whatever their personal issues might be. It's like, yeah, sometimes I feel frustrated, but yeah, you get over it. And so they're more than willing for you to share, but then sometimes later on you find out that there's a lot of data gathering that goes with that. Now they've learned things about you and they'll turn it against you, but then they're not going to really give you any kind of input that's going to cause the same to happen in reverse. A fourth game that these avoiders may often play is they may, let's call this, you're too self-impressed. I'm cutting off the compliments. Let's suppose, for example, that you are talking with that person and you're sharing something was really excited, like you had a good exchange with someone else and you really felt like there was a synergy going on, or you just had a really good day and you wanted to talk with somebody about that good day. Or you had a very rewarding experience and something good happened to you with a friend or at work. And that person can just say something like, oh, so you think you're all that? Or what am I supposed to do? Give you a gold star? And they can use sarcasm. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to share with you who I am and the positive things that go on in my life. And the sarcasm is their way of saying, don't you understand? I don't like getting inside and being an encourager with you. I'm just here. I'm a prop. You're a prop. I just don't want to go that deep. And you're thinking, deep? I'm just trying to tell you about who I am and what's going on in my day. No, you're just too self-impressed. A fifth game that these avoiders might play, we're going to call this, I have my own issues. Just go away. Now, there are times as you get to know these avoidant kind of individuals where you think, well, I'm in your life, you're in my life, where they may just show themselves to be very moody, and they may use that very familiar phrase, I just need space. And of course, we all need space at times, but then the question is how much? And so they pull back and they go away. And there's always some other kind of priority that they have besides just you. And if you ask them about it, it's like, look, I got things on my plate, or I have things that are concerning to me, or I've just got stuff that I don't want to talk about. And they'll go into that shutdown mode. I have my issues, go away. Originally, you thought, well, I was hoping we would be a team. It's like, I'm not a team with you. I just leave me alone. That's the way they operate. Or a sixth game that they can play, we're going to call this, you're so clingy, or you're so needy. Once you begin saying things like, well, come on, I want you to talk with me or do something with me, or let's just have a little personal time here, or I want to know a little bit more about what you're planning or what your thinking is over here. It's like, oh, you're so needy, you're so clingy. And it's like, I'm not being clingy, I'm trying to have what's called a relationship. Can you do that with me? And so any attempt that you have to connect with this person is thwarted. They just kind of push you back and they make it your fault. You're the blame. There's something defective about you. Don't you see that? And you're over there thinking, I don't think I'm drawing upon personal defects. I just feel like you're pushing me away. And then a seventh game that we can identify. These avoidant people might say, hey, there's the camera. Smile. So what I mean by that is there are times when in public, these people can put on a good front and they can give the impression that we're really a team and we're really getting along real well. Or when someone else is along, they can be your buddy in public. But then behind the scenes in private, it's like disinterested, the light switch turned off, don't want to engage with you. There are all sorts of games that these kind of people can play. And I could go on, but this kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about. These avoidant individuals might acknowledge at some point in the relationship that connections are good, but over time you begin realizing we don't have connections, we have transactions, and maybe we share some functions together, but in terms of having a heart connection or in terms of really knowing one another from the inside out, that doesn't happen. This person is way too uncomfortable when we start going into anything that even gives the appearance of depth. They may say that they're under stress, or when we are under stress, they're just not going to be available. That being the case, let's acknowledge that I'm going to need to keep this thing very shallow. If that's that's as far as they're going to be able to go, then I can't really invest in someone that is going to give me a very, very low return on that investment. And you have to start asking, am I really being gamed? Am I being played? And then the real question is this really damaging to me? Because over time, it can really eat away at your interior to where you start having all sorts of emotion and hurt and pain that can come with that. So let's acknowledge avoidant people are game players. And I'm hoping that you'll conclude, I'm not going to put myself in a position to be played. You're not going to game me. And I hope that videos such as this will give you some good things to think about, some good insight into what you might be dealing with. If you've not already hit that subscribe button, we have our Dr. Les Carter channel here. I would encourage you to do so. Hit the subscribe button. We already have my Surviving Narcissism channel as well. If you have a need for counseling, and many times these kind of issues will prompt something like that, I would encourage you to seek counseling. If you would prefer, we have a sponsor with a link below that could take you to online counseling. There's a whole team of licensed professional and experienced counselors that you'd be able to choose from with respect to that. In addition, we have my courses. We have my free to be course that's been out for a while. And then we have my new course that's called This Is Me, Establishing Boundaries with the Controllers in Your Life. And I'm really excited about the prospects of that. So you might want to look at the links that we have below relative to that. In addition, we have my books and other resources. So I would hope you would find those to be helpful. I want to let you know, thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. I'm hoping that this can give you some clarification of what you're dealing with. Sometimes you walk away from these individuals thinking, am I the crazy one here? And the answer is no, you're not. You're trying to bring normalcy to someone that can't do that. And so that being the case, know what you're dealing with, live with a mind awake, and in doing so, position yourself to connect with people who really do know what to do with the best that you have to offer. I want you to find people that can really appreciate you for who you are.